All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Dev Mentor Dave live stream, Saturday live stream. Um, Good to see you all here. If you are watching live, jump in the chat and say hello. Howdy Ming, good to see you. I didn't do a good job of reminding everybody I was going to be live today, so we'll see. We'll see if anybody shows up outside of you and me, Ming. So today we'll be jumping back into this mobile app project and taking a look at some things. I'll get everybody caught up because I have done a little bit of work on it since Wednesday. If you were able to jump on live on Wednesday and see what we were working on, or if you've watched it since then, or maybe just picked up the snippet that I posted. Hopefully that's something that will be beneficial. I'm going to try to do that a little bit more. I don't know if I'll do that with the code itself, just because I don't know how long, like how interested people are in watching a more of a prolonged code thing. I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to look at my AI coding generator thing and see, or video generator thing and see how that actually works. If there's any way to make decent videos through that, because I need some short long form videos to be able to post from these live streams, but it takes a lot of can take a lot of extra work even with AI, because you only get a certain number of credits, and then when you're doing a 2 hour live stream, that's a lot of credits to eat up on that. So we'll see. I'll figure it out. You landed a referral. Nice job, Ming. Is this with a new company, or is this with the one that you were doing the interview for? And how did the leak code thing go? I'm interested to find out um, if if you did well. Welcome, Mel. Welcome. Good to see you. You're not late. You're not late. We're just getting started here. Yeah, congratulations, Ming. Um, New company. Nice. So this is something that I know I've talked about in the past, but something that we don't really think about a lot of times when we're looking for jobs, really any job, but especially in the tech industry, we kind of get into this idea that we've got to go through this set process, right? We've got to put in the application and we've got to wait for a phone call and we got to do this, we got to do that. And it's it's really the referrals that tend to get you a job. Um, if you and it doesn't have to be somebody necessarily even in the department that you're looking to get into. If you can get a referral from somebody in the company, you are much more likely to get a job with that company. Now, that's not a guarantee. You still have to be qualified to get the job most of the time, but generally if somebody refers you, that's like they're going out on a limb and they're basically saying to the company, this person is a good person. This is the type of person that I want to work with and that I think that would fit in with our company and with our culture. And then the next piece of it really is, do they have the skills and are they going to be at the price point that we need as a company to be able to hire that person? And so the best way, and this has been the case forever, to get a job is to be referred. So that's one of the reasons why I tell people, don't just build a random network of people on LinkedIn, but try to get to know people who work for companies that you're interested in working for. And it may not be something that happens right away. In fact, I basically was referred to the company that I work for by the owner of the company. He didn't make the hiring decisions. He left that up to other people in the organization. But he and I had interacted on LinkedIn over several conversations, and finally, he said, "Hey, why don't you interview with us?" So I was like, "Okay." So I did, and ended up working for him now. So even if you target, and that wasn't necessarily my goal to target him specifically, but those types of interactions and relationship building even online can be beneficial to helping you get a referral into a company. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be somebody who works in that specific department. It could just be somebody, it could be somebody who works at a front desk, answering phone calls and things like that, but they know what the company does and they know what you have the ability to do, and they can make a connection. And at the end of the day, it's getting those connections really that's the most important to getting into that interview process. And sometimes you just need to hijack the system and come around to a different way of getting there. So that's really awesome to hear, Ming, that you've got that referral. Hopefully that'll be the final linchpin in the process for you getting a job here. So the lead code when the team didn't even show up. Oh my goodness, that's just pathetic. Sorry about that, man. That really stinks. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like I wonder. You have to wonder if the job's really even real. You know, I mean that's frustrating. Yeah, that's awesome. Having somebody it's a close friend, someone who's seen your growth, that's really cool, man. Seeing having somebody in the organization who knows where you were and sees where you are now and can see that progression, and then they can explain that progression to somebody else as well and give you a leg up. That's really really awesome. So, um, even a mentor. I mean, that's the thing, right? You know, finding the people, and I know that may sound daunting and unfair, but it's the best way to go about it is to try to get to know people in the industry who have jobs in the companies that you're interested in, especially the smaller companies. Those are the ones where people are, you know, I work in a fairly small company. It's not super small, it's not a startup, but you know we don't have tons of people working for us. We've got less than 50 people employees if I remember correctly, and so you know it's a pretty small company. So if I say that somebody has really good value, or if I give a good recommendation about someone, they're going to listen and see if that person is is a good fit. They're gonna have a higher priority for that person from an interview perspective. In fact, we just did that recently with somebody, and they didn't end up getting hired, but you know they were moved to the top of the list because they were a referral by somebody internally. So it's always good to build your network, but be targeted when you build your network so that you're um, looking for contacts in the places where you might be interested in going. So yeah, recruiters who are telling you to apply online are not really recruiters. I don't know. A real recruiter is going to work with you and work with the company to get you an interview, typically, whether that's an internal recruiter or whether that's an external recruiter. And internal recruiters still, uh, the only reason they would tell you to fill out an application is because they're internal and they need to flag it. So that would be something that, you know, is maybe a difference. But if they're telling you to do it to fill out an application for a company they don't work for, yeah, they probably don't have any control over that process. So, all right, why didn't they end up getting hired? Uh, I think on that one we actually made an offer and they declined it. We've had others where somebody has been um, referred and they just weren't really qualified, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong with them as a person or anything. It just they just didn't meet the expectations. And again, not everybody knows necessarily all the expectations and requirements that we're looking for, and those things may change over time as well, depending on the needs of the company. Um, you know, we may be looking for somebody with um, a broader skill set at one point in time. We may be looking for somebody with a smaller skill set at one point in time. So it kind of depends on the needs of the company too. So there's not necessarily just like one reason why people get rejected. Um, but sometimes, you know, even as a company, you make an offer and you think it's going to be what's going to bring them on board, and they don't accept it. So it's not much you can do at that point when you've gone through the process. So anyway, yeah. So there's lots of reasons. I think that was the reason for that one specifically that I was thinking of. Uh, but yeah, we've had other referrals who um, just really were not quite what we were looking for, either in terms of knowledge or experience, or um, maybe didn't just feel like a good fit, personality wise. There's lots of reasons. You want to have a good cohesive team that can work together, and there's a lot of aspects that go into that. It's not just about whether you can do the work. I've worked with lots of interesting people over the years in different jobs, and there the team dynamics does make a difference. I've worked with some individuals who, they came in, they did the job, didn't really ever talk to anybody, didn't really have any interactions with people, didn't really want to talk to people. They just wanted to, do tickets and get paid, right? And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but if your team is a much more collaborative team, that type of person is not going to fit in. If your team is the opposite, if your team's full of a lot of people who are really there just to kind of get the job done, do the work, get paid, somebody who's very relational probably isn't going to fit in very well with a team like that. So, and that when you have those conflicts from a team dynamic, that can slow down productivity and cause issues amongst the team in how they work together. So understanding your team dynamics and looking for people that fit in with that is a valid part of the application and the interview process. So, and you can usually tell that on how people interview. Some people are just more naturally gregarious. Some people are more naturally reserved. We try to do a good job of at least making people feel as comfortable as possible. The interview process is not comfortable. It's really not comfortable for anybody on any side, but we try to make it as comfortable and as conversational as possible, so people's natural interaction can hopefully come out. Is it perfect? No, but I think we do a pretty good job, and so we can usually tell from a relational standpoint if we think somebody's going to fit in, not just the team dynamic, but fit into what we're looking for. So it's not always just about what they know and what they can do and what they have done. So lots of things around interviewing people. I'll have to be honest with you. My perspective has really changed around the employment interviewing process the more I have been a part of this side of the interviewing process. I still absolutely think there are problems and things that need to be fixed and adjusted overall in the industry, but I certainly have a greater appreciation for everything that a company has to think about when they're interviewing and when they're making decisions on candidates. So it's not easy, especially when you are coming at it from a perspective like I am, where I really I'm a mentor type person. I like to give people a chance, and sometimes that's not really what we need at the time. I can't really be spending time training people and holding people's hands, which is why we mostly hire senior level developers. We need them to be able to kind of hit the ground running, and that's nothing against junior devs. I love junior devs. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't like junior devs. But it's just part of it's definitely changed my understanding and my perspective on the interview process and hiring and things like that. So while I do think there are better things that can be done, and I do find issues with the hiring process, I definitely have a greater respect for those who have to go through it, like myself. So, welcome, WebWords. Good to see WebWords. Maybe I'm just gonna call you Wave. Welcome, Wave. Nope, you're not late. We're good. Yeah, you're 11 minutes late or whatever it is. 15 minutes. I don't know when you came in. So we're all good. We haven't even really looked at any code or anything yet. I've just been pontificating for the last 15 minutes. So there's that. Let's see what else I'm missing. Oh, that's a good question. Do you think being rejected when it's a referral is easier or harder? Um, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been rejected as a referral myself. Um, I think it depends on the person who referred you. So if you have a good relationship with the person who referred you, and especially if they can give you feedback that you might not have gotten otherwise, it might be easier to handle a rejection from that perspective. Um, I think the big thing that I would keep in mind is understand that the person who referred you has no control over the decision makers, most likely. So being referred, it, it gets you to the front of the line, but it's not a guarantee. And so I think I would assume that the process is the same, and don't assume that they thought higher of you or lower of you because of the referral. I just know that the companies, as employers, as interviewers, I'm going to trust somebody that is a good employee for me. I'm going to trust them above just a bunch of resumes in a stack, right? So that's why I'm bringing you to the front of the line. Um, that's you still have to be what I'm looking for in order to get the job. And so I would say it shouldn't matter. Psychologically, it might matter a little bit more just because there is that tendency to bring somebody to the front of the line due to a referral. There also is kind of an unspoken um, expectation that you have a better in when you don't necessarily have a better in. Even if they work in the department that you're hiring for, that doesn't mean that you have a better chance necessarily of getting the job. I would say I would say referrals give you a better chance of getting an interview, but it's still on you to get the job. So I that would be my caveat to that process, and my encouragement that if you do get a referral, for example, like me, you get a referral, understand that they're probably not the decision maker, and you still got to prove that you belong there. So view it that way, and I think you won't deal with as much heartache or a different heartache than you would if you don't get the position. But that's a great question, Mel. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely is a balance of technical skills and soft skills. Um, we are so it's been an interesting progression over the years. So we haven't even gotten into code yet. It's been an interesting progression over the years. So when I started, and even before me, the people who were doing development were a lot more technical heavy. Um, you had to do a lot more to get into the job, from like a technical learning standpoint. Um, I would say the type of people who are developers now is much broader. Um, it includes a lot more types of people, types of personalities than it used to. Programming used to draw really, excuse me, really more of a mathematical type person, used to draw more of a technical thinker, kind of the quiet people, it used to kind of draw a certain personality. But today, I think partially because of the ubiquity of opportunities to learn it and exposure to it, more people with different varying personality types are interested in programming and becoming programmers. I would say I'm not a math genius by any stretch of the imagination. Um, so somebody like me, 20, well, 20, it was me 20 years ago. Whew, I'm old. 30 or 40 years ago, somebody like me getting into programming probably wouldn't have happened, just because of the technology at the time, the type of personality that was drawn to that type of technology. I think as technology has grown and changed over the years and become, in many ways, easier for the average person to understand and wrap their mind around, I think that's made a big difference in the type of people that are becoming programmers. And so over time, now it's not just about your technical skills. Now you do have to include some of those soft skills that Ming was talking about, right? You have to have more social skills because more of the people that are involved in programming and development have those skills. They're more social people than they were, 30, 40 years ago. So it is something that, can somebody who doesn't have those soft skills get a job? Yeah. And they'll probably be even better at doing the job than some of us that have more of the soft skills as well. But if you want, I feel like a lot of times that hinders growth from a career arc standpoint. So moving up the ladder in the career oftentimes is more to do with your social skills than it is to do with your technical skills. And so you got to make sure that you're working on both of those, learning how to work with a team and communicate with people, not just work with the code base. So welcome, OS. Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, you got in late last time, Waves. uh, that's why my friend who referred me warned me that in the beginning I needed to be independent and pick things up fast. Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad that they're helping you with that approach, and that's something that hopefully more people that refer will give those caveats and give those warnings. So, not everybody does. A lot of times people are just like, "Hey, I referred you." And they just expect us to deal with the situation. So it's good that they're kind of walking you through that and helping you manage your expectations. So that's awesome. Got to pull my old man glasses down here a little bit so I can read. Actually, can I just let me see? I should be able to increase. There we go. We're increasing the. Oh, we're gonna increase the size over there. This is what happens when everything's connected. Here we go. Okay. Now I can read. Now I can read what you guys are saying. I gotta increase the font size, not just for the live stream, but for interacting with you all. Oh man. Let's see. See, now I know, Ming. I gotta know what the reason was now, because Ming says he got rejected based on a referral from his sister, but the reason was lame. Yeah, Mel, what's the reason? I didn't have enough experience. Other candidates had experience from different industries, which was what they were looking for. Plus, the role was a junior role. Huh. That's interesting. Didn't have enough experience, but it's a junior role. See, this is part of the problem with this industry. I don't think we don't have any good, consistent nomenclature and standards around what's a junior, mid, things like that. So you never know. You never know what's actually going on. Which one are you advertising? OS advertising. That's awesome. We're just gonna call him OS. I forget, where are you from, OS? If you're still on, I think somebody dropped. We'll find out. Find out if they're listening. All right. So let me kind of show you guys some of the things that we're working on. So last time I jumped on a live stream on Wednesday night, which is not typical. Usually I have something at church going on Wednesday night, but it got canceled due to some weather concerns. So Wednesday night I went live to make up for last Saturday since I wasn't able to be on. And on Wednesday we got through. So the goal was to try to build out some of the navigation. We've got the circles with the icons and get those to go places. And we had some issues at the end getting the navigation to actually work. And so, oh, Omar. Okay, cool. So Omar from Morocco. That does sound familiar. I feel like you've mentioned that before. It's hard to keep track of where everybody is though, and I apologize. Yeah, welcome, Omar. I probably won't remember that it's Omar either, which is sad. The more we do this, I'll remember, but it's easier when people put their names in the actual, like Ming and Mel, things like that. But welcome. All right, from Morocco. Awesome. So on Wednesday, we did get we got the circles working. Let me pop over here. So we got our circles working. I wonder if I can do... this. I can't really move this over to the, hang on, I could do this, but that would mess it up. I don't want to mess it up. We'll just do it the other way. Sorry, you can't see what I'm playing with. I'm playing with a different view to maybe transition, but I'm not worried about it. Okay. So we got the circles working, we got the icons inside the circles working, and we made them clickable. And so we could click on it. It had a little highlight thing. I've since changed that, by the way. So I'll kind of walk you guys through what I did since Wednesday. But it wasn't actually going anywhere. We couldn't get the navigation to work quite right, and I found some other issues once I did get the navigation working. So let me jump into the code here and kind of walk you through the things that I did, because it was off screen. I didn't record it, and so I want to at least let you guys see some of the things that I learned and found out as I went through this, and then we'll take a look at maybe trying to incorporate some third-party things into this app. Excuse me. All right, so let me pull up the code here. One of the things, well, let's just look at the circle stuff. So I created several types and I moved them into a types.ts file. So here's all of our pages in the app. Actually, some of these are going to go away because there's some links out to other websites and stuff like that, but we'll get there in a second. So here's our font. Awesome. I'm trying to keep all this stuff in a place that makes sense so I can just import it, because a lot of these ended up, as I was restructuring some of the code, a lot of these ended up being called in multiple places. So so we had our circle menu item. We created the circle menu. So let me pull that up, because since we did that last Wednesday. So here's our circle, what I'm calling the circle button. And the circle button basically uses the pressable component now, instead of the, I think we were using highlight, what was it? Touchable highlight. So we were using touchable highlight before, but now we're using pressable. Pressable doesn't add that little highlight ring, which, duh, that's that's what touchable highlight means. But pressable is basically the same thing without highlighting. Just makes the button a button that doesn't interact with anything, or doesn't have any reactions necessarily. So we're pulling in pages for our navigation. So one interesting thing, at least about the way that we're using navigation at the moment, this use navigation from React Navigation Native, because we're using that, we have to pull in a list of the pages, which is a type. And so we've got all the pages defined here in this pages type. And so we're pulling that into our circle button, so we know what all the pages, all the possible pages would be that we could be linking to. And then we're passing in our parameters here to the circle button. We did a lot of this last week. So here's our circle button. Here's the on layout. We're dealing to set the size of the buttons and all that stuff. We did all that on Wednesday. But the one thing we didn't have was this on press. So we are expecting a page name to be passed in, or one of the things that I did since then was the ability to call a URL, because some of these buttons are actually going to go to the website. So so we've got an on press attribute on this pressable component, and we are calling this on press function here. So what we're looking for is, if there's a page name that's being passed in, then we're going to use the navigation navigate to that page name, and that page name has to be this circle menu item types. That page name has to be a key of one of these pages. All right, so it's gotta match one of the pages that the app is aware of being available. So it can't just go to some random string. That's mostly due to TypeScript. It did work without the TypeScript liking it, but we want things to be done right. So the other option is if page name is undefined, hopefully URL is undefined. It is not undefined, and so if it's not undefined, then we're going to try to use this method called linking. Linking comes from Expo linking. It's a package that is brought in. Expo, again, is the framework that we're using within React Native to be able to handle a lot of routing and things like that. So we're using linking, and that linking allows us to open a specific URL, and that'll just send you to your browser, right? If there's a problem, it'll post a console error as well. So this is the main change for the circle button from Wednesday. So we've got the navigation working, and I can come back over here and I can click on info, and that'll take us to the info page. Or like some of these are actually going out to the website. So I could click on this, and that takes me to the website, to a specific page on the website for this client, right? So, and again, these all go out. So all of that is working great. Had some issues when I was working with it, but yay. Yeah, exactly. It is a little bit annoying, Ming. Regular React routing is a whole lot easier. I think part of it is because um, the app needs to know what pages are available. I think it's partially an Expo issue and partially, actually, it's mostly an Expo issue, right? So it's not really a React issue. It's the Expo framework and doing it within that framework. So now here's an interesting thing though that I figured out with the navigation. So when we're looking at our application, if we navigate to say a page like this, depending on where our file is and where it's being included, it may or may not have this bottom tab area. And that took me a little while to figure out. So what I did is I moved all of the pages for the app out of this main area, and I put them inside the tabs directory. All right, so all of the pages for the app are inside the tabs directory because I wanted the tabs to be on all the pages. But that's not the end of it. So inside the layout TSX file for tabs, I also had to add all those screens. Now, the problem is when you add a tab screen, it natively or naturally adds a new tab for that tab screen, which makes sense, right? If you're adding a tab screen, you're going to have tabs for them. But you can add an option to it, which all of these have. So these are all the extra screens that I want to have the tabs, but I only want the 4 tabs at the top here. So all these other screens, I just set the href to null. Can't you map the tab screens? You mean instead of putting them in here? I could map, yeah, so I could map here. I could probably do, that's a good question, actually. I don't know if I could do something like that. I didn't try. You might be able to map it. I don't know because this parameter, well, hey, you know what? Let's try it. Since you asked the question, let's try it. This one I know is actually going away. We'll create a new new file, test.tsx, and in here test screen, testing, test.tsx. All right, let's see if we can pull it in from here in our layout. I don't know if it'll pull this. Let's just try it. If we're just using the name, will it find it? That's a good question. I don't know if it'll find it. And I'm going to add I'm going to get rid of this href null to add a tab for it and see if it can find it here. So let's refresh. Where's the tab? I just added the tab. Name, options. It should have a tab icon regardless. Tab screen, name, test. Maybe it can't find it, and so, hang on, let's see. No route name test exists. Aha. Okay. So that tells us that's the issue. Let's try that. No route name ... test exists. Yeah, I don't think there's a way. Or pass into the props. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure because the expo routing seems to want to do it based off of maybe that. Nope, it doesn't like that either. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be able to find it outside of the current directory. There's probably some setting that I could find that would let me do that. But yeah, it doesn't seem to recognize it outside of that. No. So there's only the four main ones. The rest of them are have this href null. So that's why it's not there. These are not showing up on the tabs. Actually, I do use. So Omar's asking about using an AI editor. So this actually has Codium installed as a plugin. So like I could come over here. Where's it at? And ask questions over here, things like that. I try not to use it that much on the live stream because I I don't want I want you guys to see what it's like to actually struggle through it and figure things out because that's going to help you more long term. But while I am developing, I do use I've been checking out Windsurf, but I've been using Codium a little bit here in VS Code. So yeah, it's not so the Codium for VS Code is I don't think it's as useful for the way that I use Windsurf. So when I'm using Windsurf, I will do a lot more chatting and have Windsurf do the actual writing of code and in creating of things. Most of the time, I'll still tweak stuff, but if I'm using Windsurf, I will use the chat feature a lot more. Um, so I don't want to do that while I'm doing this live. I want to actually go through the process. In here, it doesn't have that ability because it's not part of the ID. It's just a plugin. So it doesn't have the ability that I've seen to be able to automatically input the code. It'll write the code for you and you can copy paste it. Excuse me, but it won't just like interact with your files automatically from the plugin in VS Code. So, but it does, excuse me, it does have some pretty scary automation, scary but cool automation. Just having the plugin and the autocomplete within within the files. So it's pretty nifty. Even like the autocompletes, you've already seen some a little bit here, just filling out stuff. I was actually working on this this last week, and filling out this pages types. So if I go back to where's it at? I'm not a big keystroke guy, so I know I need to learn that better. But so if I go back to types, um, like a lot of these were not defined when I was working on adding more pages, right? But I would come in here and literally just hit like tab or I just wait, and it would start offering things based on files that it would start giving me, and I could just literally like hit tab a few times, and I had all of them in there. So again, AI is really cool, and we'll use it here as we're going through this. Um, but also my rant from last time, from Wednesday when we were doing this, was you still need to know how to do. You still need to know what you're doing. Still need to be able to read the code and understand the code, and even go back to documentation. Make sure you understand why the code is suggesting what it's suggesting. Never just blindly add code to your application from AI. How come pages have a type? This is just the way that so this method, use navigation, navigate. It's expecting, it's wanting to match the pages with a specific key, but then like I could pass in so something like where's my file layout? So something like this where we have options, I could actually take these options and for example, let's do this. Let's take these options and remove them from here. At least this is my understanding. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see. So we'll come back over here, and what was that? That was for alerts. So come back to alerts. All right, and I think I can change this undefined to that. Or maybe just this. Or maybe just this. All right, I think I can pass the options in here if I wanted to. So let's get rid of the href null and see if this shows up as a new icon. And it does. All right, but let's see if I can add href null because it's got alerts. Oh, that's interesting. It's not pulling in these. It's not pulling these in because it's got title. And it's not pulling in the right values here. So my understanding was that you could set some of these options here, and that's why these are all undefined, because we're not passing in options. Maybe because something doesn't like it. What's going on here? Page name. Interesting. I don't know. I'd have to research that some more. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Ming. I don't have a good answer for you. There we go. All right, so it just put it all back. the beauty of AI. I definitely moved a lot faster. When I'm accepting things from AI and when it's writing good code, definitely does speed up your development process. So let's see what's going on here. Yeah, main trouble is knowing how to structure code. That's honestly, Mel, that's why I like opinionated frameworks. So using something like Expo, using something like Laravel, where there's flexibility, but there's kind of a standard way of doing things. Because I agree, sometimes it's hard to figure out what the best way to lay out an application is, especially if you're learning a new language or something like that. So that's one of the reasons I gravitate towards opinionated frameworks, not just for their ability, but also for their kind of built-in organization. Yeah, exactly. Your tools are definitely finding good tools, finding tools that work for you. We actually had a conversation about this in the office. My boss is a JetBrains guy. I've used JetBrains once or twice, but it just never. It wasn't necessarily to me any better. Some people swear by JetBrains. I definitely Windsurf doesn't blow my socks off as an editor, but the integrated value of AI in it kind of makes up for it, at least in my opinion. But if you're coming from something like JetBrains, because Windsurf is basically VS Code with AI, really, at the end of the day. So, but yeah, I don't know if you guys are obviously Omar's using AI editors, but that's a new one. If you guys are interested in playing around with something, um, you can do that. I do have a pro account with Windsurf because that's the only way to use the base model and still be able to have it right. So I pay a little bit a month, but it's worth it so far. I don't write a lot of code outside of inside of work, so like my daily work doesn't really rely on it, but doing stuff outside, um, it's been definitely been helpful to move faster. So all right, so we updated the circle button and added a lot more pages, got some of the navigation in place here. But that led us to some pages such as info, where we needed some other menu styles. So if we look back at our designs, we've got some different menu styles. I did make some changes to the styling. I felt like the brown color was a little bit less stark and more part of the application than this black color here on this menu. So that's something that's a change that I made. One thing I haven't quite figured out yet is this back button. I know that it did work on some originally, so I'm just wondering if there's a way for me to to change that to where it's always back, because it was always saying like tabs or the next thing to go back, and I didn't like that. It's so like I don't know why it's not showing at the moment, but there used to be a back button here that would go back to tabs. Um, I must have done something to get rid of it. I'm not sure what, but I did something. So yeah, I definitely Sublime Text was one I used for a long time. I did do Atom for a little bit, for sure. So yeah, I'm right there with you, Omar. So anyway, I created a new element because again, most of these are going out to the website as well. So a lot of the functionality was basically the same, but I just needed a different layout. So I created something similar to the circle buttons. Is this rectangular button? Actually, I don't think I'm using. Am I using this anymore? I'm not using the rectangular button. I don't think. I might need to get rid of this. Let's see. Contact rec button. Oh, I am. Oh, that's for something else. Okay, never mind. So this bar menu is what I called it. So this bar menu component takes a list of items and then uses that list of items to output um, these more of a menu type buttons. And these are all just a single menu item, so they're not like drop downs or things or accordions, things that we would need to open and close to see the bottom. So or to see like something inside of it. These are all just going directly someplace else. Um, Also, from a design standpoint, these are all centered. That just looks less clean to me, so I left align them. But the principle is basically the same. We have a pressable with the styling that we want. We've got an icon. We've got a text. This is where things got really scary really quick with the AI help. I almost all of this in this section, almost all of this was just AI generated. It went really quickly. It's kind of scary. Even like it even came up with its own icon, like the fact that it needed an icon. It was really interesting. It's a little scary for somebody old like me, but you know, if it helps, it helps. So we've got a view, and we're mapping over the items, and we're returning a pressable with text and with the icon, um, and then we're calling again basically the same functionality as we have on the circle button. The only difference is instead of so over here we're passing in the page to the circle button. It's its own kind of entity. In the bar menu, we're getting a list of items. So we actually, excuse me, we actually are passing in um, the where's it at? On press. So go away. On press, we're passing in the item itself, the whole object. And so that way I could access whether the page name was undefined or whether the URL was undefined, and then use those accordingly. So it's generally the same process as the circle button, but it's got a different look and feel, and it handles a group of items rather than an individual item like the circle button does. So those are really the biggest changes that we've had since Wednesday, and magic, exactly. So those are the biggest changes that we've had since Wednesday. The difference is, this stuff is actually pointing. Most of the links are available. I did go ahead and switch to circles. If we look at the designs for their current app, this is just kind of ugly to me. I don't like this. I don't feel like it's quite as pressable looking. And so I actually went and switched over to circles to be able to make these links out. Not all of these work yet. There's some linking options that are available that we'll need to delve into as well. But contact us is where we're finding errors at the moment. And now I've got to restart. Reload. Okay, so contact us is having an issue, and that's mostly because I had started down the path of trying to integrate Google Maps, and that's what I want to try to attempt today in the next hour, if we can get it figured out. And then the next thing for me would be notifications. I've done some research on notifications. I think I'm going to probably go the route of Firebase because the push notifications, if I'm understanding correctly, push notifications are free. If anybody knows differently, let me know, but I couldn't find specific pricing on push notifications, and the documentation seemed to act like it was free. So that's definitely what we need for a charitable organization, not to add more cost to their monthly budget. But what I'm trying to do is get this Google Maps integrated with the application. So I started down this path, and I added a package. I'm trying to remember what the package was now. It's like I think it's React Native Maps is the name of the package. And in my let me clear some of this stuff out. In my contact page, there's some SMS stuff I was playing around with too. In my contact page, I was trying to include this map view. So I'm going to kill this for now. See if that makes things happier. It does. Okay, so here's our contact page without the errors. This is those rectangular buttons. And I can click on those. It doesn't do anything correctly yet. Partially because of the simulator. Some of the stuff. So I'll have to hook up my phone eventually and actually test these things for real at some point, but we'll do that later. I want to try to get some other things integrated here for now. So this map view is supposed to come from React Native Maps. It's not really working, so I think we're gonna go down the path of talking to ChatGPT about this and see what maybe I've missed along the way in getting this integrated. So let's pop over here and ask, how do I integrate Google Maps into my React Native with Expo app? Try to give it a little bit of context here. Install the dependencies. npx expo install React Native Maps. I am 99% sure I did that. Otherwise, it would be complaining to me. But let's just do it again to make sure. That's great. Let's see. All right. Installing one SDK, compatible native module using NPM. Changed one package. That's interesting. It changed something, so maybe that's part of the issue. Okay. Let's see. Configure Google Maps API key. I already have that. Enable required APIs. Geocoding. I don't need geocoding, but I did enable both of these already. And I've got an API key. Configure Android. What? I don't want Android. We're using iOS simulator. Seriously? Google Maps won't work in Expo on iOS. Use Apple Maps. Default in React Native Maps. Interesting. Okay. Haha. We learned something new. Just use the basic API. Yeah, I could do that. I want to try to do it the recommended way. If you're okay with using... Okay, provider equals null. Okay, let's try this. Use Apple Maps. The question is, does the simulator have Apple Maps? That's an excellent question. It does. All right, so theoretically, we can interact with that. All right, so I'm going to add this map view. Ugh. Provider. It does not like provider. Either Google, otherwise undefined. It doesn't like null. It wants undefined. Can we do undefined? If I don't define it, I don't think it'll work. But let's try this. Oh, we got same error. Okay, same error. Bubbling event types of null. Let's grab this error and throw it into ChatGPT. Type error. Can I read probably? I get this on iOS with your example. Yeah, it's all your fault. React Native. Usually Google Maps isn't properly linked because you're trying to use Google Maps, which doesn't support it. But I'm not. I'm not trying to use Google Maps. Oh, I am. Ha, hang on. Un momento. Uh, 1 second here. I need to go to app.js or app.json. Let's look at this bad boy. All right, because in here, no, I got rid of that. Why does it think I'm trying to use... I got rid of... Because I did have a setting in here under iOS for Google Maps, but I removed that. Let me try restarting it and see if that's the issue. No, it does nothing. So we're not even getting an error. Util services. Take J. Google Chrome egg. Nope. Not even an error. Reload. Let's try going home. That's not helpful at all. Any debugger information? No, nothing? Not helpful? Launching DevTools. That's not helpful. Okay, so I'm confused. If I get rid of this, will it come back? Refresh, reload. Oh, restart. Oh, welcome to my world, everybody. Welcome to my world. Okay, that's back, and that's back. It does not like this. And this says it's because I'm using... But it's not true. I'm not using configs. This is what I used to have. And I took it out. And I restarted it. Install Expo Dev Client. Build and run custom dev client for iOS. I already do that. I am doing that already. Well, I mean, we can try this solution 2 and go back to that. See if we get any results that are better. All right. And then let's see, where's my key? I'm going to change this key so nobody go pounding it. Actually, I'm going to move this momentarily. Actually, here, we'll do this. So I don't have to move it. I'll just transition for a second. There we go. Now, hopefully you can't see it. Not that I don't trust you. I just don't trust you. All right. Come back over here. And let's restart it. All right. See if we get any issues when we go here. No issues yet. Okay. So then we'll come back here. We'll uncomment this and we'll change this to Google. Is that what we want? Provider Google. All right. Crush fingers. Nope. Nothing. What's it complaining about here? Cannot read property of bubbling. It's still AI or Google Map. So it does not want to use map view. Am I using the wrong thing? Map view. I mean, I copied the whole component from there. Initial region. Do we need an initial region? Same error. Let's see. I did install it correctly. Restart your development server. What's this -C? I hate it when people give me instructions like that. What's -C mean? Clear bundler cache. Okay, well, let's try that. Open it with iOS. It's definitely taking longer. And now we have a white screen of death. I would say it still doesn't like it. Reload. Man, this thing does not. So, this is interesting. I don't know. I have to do some more research on other options because it certainly doesn't like that. It's got the same. It's the same issue. This is the same command, dude. Stupid. Try Apple Maps. No provider prop. Um. Okay. I feel like I've done that before with the same results. So let's try it again. Um. Will it not automatically? Mm-mm-mm. We'll see how. See, ChatGPT doesn't always know what the problem is. Uh, I don't want to do another build. Last resort. Remove and reinstall packages. I don't necessarily like that idea. All right, let's take a look here. And same thing. Why is it still trying to do? Okay, hang on. If we remove the provider, it should be trying to do something else. You would think. And we keep getting. Oh, what's building? See if we get the white screen of death still. We do. So we still keep getting the white screen of death on this page if we have map view. Ha 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 ha. Let's try this. Any alternatives to React Native Maps? I've gotten to where ChatGPT has become my Google, so I'll still Google things at times. React Native Web View without deep native integrations. That might be all we need, honestly. This is not like a super important app. Let's do this. Okay. Let's try this. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Up to date. Yeah, it must be already there. Interesting. Okay. Copy this. And get rid of that. And get rid of this. Oh, 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 look at that. We just added the import. Watch this. That's not the right URL, though. Okay, let's come back here. Styles.map. Nope, don't care about that. All right, review. I think I just did. I need to do the whole source. I think that's what I copied. It is. Right. Let's see. Another white screen of death. That's my new term. The white screen of death. Is there a Google Maps API for React Native? Not that I saw. It was only for React and only for Android and for iOS. Ming. We shouldn't have the bubble issue. There we go. All right. Well, something is there. Something's there. Do we have any errors? I don't see any errors. Let's look back. Container flex. I'll do flex one for our styles. Nothing is showing up though. which is another bummer. Let's see. Web view. I assume this is just a URL. Let's see. Who knows where it's pointing to? Or if it's even a valid URL. Why is that posting in there? There we go. Alright, well, it's a valid URL. Let's look at web view. I cannot type today. Man, okay. Hands off. Try it again. iOS web views. Creating a web view component. Let's see. I don't want something that is iOS specific. Is this iOS specific? React Native web view. Let's take a look at this package. React Native. This is what we just installed. Let's see, community maintained web view. How old is it? Oh, a month ago. That's good. Which was removed from core. Why was it removed from core? Platform compatibility. Good, good, good. Okay. So that's basically what we did. All right, just for fun, let's let's change the URI here. Let's do see if we get anything to show up. Nothing. Interesting. It's definitely big. Like let's do border color black and width 1. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, AI. Ah, interesting. So Flex 1 is not really working. Let's do stop. Something's flashing in there. It's definitely not wanting to be. It's definitely not spilling out. Let's try. Do we need to put it inside of another view? Let's see what ChatGPT said. View Flex 1. I don't know that it needs it. I don't know we need all that either. Huh. It's there. I just don't know why it's not expanding. Maybe if we do like this. Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting that the height is that large. Why is it so big? But the percentage doesn't seem to work. So let's do this. Where did we have that in our index? Yes. So we have our const height from dimensions. Get dimensions from here. Oop, that's not what I'm looking for. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. So we've got dimensions. So width should be width. Let's see if that. Okay, so that went full width. That's good. Let's do width times point or 0.9. That's okay. That's good. And then let's do height. Why is height not changing? That's interesting. Okay. Transport security deposit requires the use of a secure connection. There we go. Hey, there's my really lousy website. Okay, so let's pull in the URI. Okay. So the big issue with this is that we're pulling in the app. Like we're actually pulling in the web page, which has predefined like page stuff. So that's not a good solution. Necessarily. It could be fine. I don't think that's really what they're going for. I may have to do some more research on this then, because this is, yeah, it looks really weird. You're right, Ming. I want something that's more integrated. Well, let's do this. Google Maps Web View. Native Experience, no. Map Box. What's Map Box? Oh, I need to keep reading. Let's see. Mapbox. Mapbox provide a powerful alternative to Google Maps with better customization. Okay. You're speaking my language. Oh, Mapbox. So what is this? Is this a paid service? All right. Let's check it out. Yeah. Go. Fine. Get started for free. Pricing. Pay as you go. Volume discount. Save when you commit. Monthly active users. Meter trips. Snap fuzzy inaccurate traces from a GPS unit or phone. Map matching. No. Optimization Matrix API. Maps SDK for mobile. This is what I want. I think. 25,000 active users. That's going to be enough for sure. Excellent. Okay, so. Yeah. Okay, so Maps SDK for mobile. So I guess I have to create an account. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right, Mapbox. I'm thinking no. Let's see. Sorry. You will not be charged until your usage exceeds a free tier. I mean, this is just for testing. I guess I can. I guess I can live with that. I don't know what my credit card number is. Sorry, 1 second. Where's my? Make sure nobody can see this. You all can't see this, can you? Let's see. Sorry, 1 second. This is part of the arduous nature of building applications. And everybody wants your credit card number so they can charge you. Expiration. Why do they need your credit card? So they can charge you. That's why. Because once you go past the free tier, they want to charge you right away instead of asking you if you want to keep moving forward. Um, they want to get their money without you knowing about it, really. Oh my goodness, please. Come on. What is my address? Nope. Oh, that's not good. This map company is not pulling up my address correctly. That's not a good sign for a world. Sorry guys, this is just really weird. It's right, free should be free, absolutely. Uh why is There we go. Man, that was weird. It can't and then it didn't pre-populate the fields correctly. That's so dumb. What? Tax ID? No, I'm good, thank you. That is a valid. What in the world? Something's going crazy here. I know my address. This is really making me concerned that this map box is not going to work correctly because it doesn't seem to be able to find my address. That's really weird. Sorry guys, this is just really odd and I'm trying to figure out why. That's it. Click on it. Holy cow. Okay. I got that was weird. It was having some issues for sure. Um I don't want to fill out all these stupid things. What industry are you in? None of your business. What is your primary goal? Other. Also, none of your business. What's your company size? Not applicable. Mobile. Oh my goodness. I'm just here to get an access token. Finally, some. Yes, this is exactly it. I'm just here to get an access token. This is really annoying. Please don't create applications like this. Okay. Maps. Map loads for web, for SDKs for mobile. Tokens, default public token for live CRF token with tokens. API access token configure. Okay, so I guess this is it. At least the one I'll use for now. Oh, this is DevTools. I was like, what is that? Okay, so where's our instructions? Come back over here. All right. Expo Extra Mapbox Access Token in app.json. Expo, is there an extra already? There is. Okay. We'll get that here in a second. Mapbox Access Token. Inside Extra. Expo Extra. All right. So, did we do this? I don't think we did this yet. Sorry, hang on. Let's come back here. I should get rid of the Google ones at some point here just to make sure we don't have bloated packages. All right, so that's that step. Use it in your app. Okay, we'll find out. We will find out. Nope, I don't want WebView. Thank you. Get rid of that. Similar coordinates. Styles just flex one. Okay. I know it's probably the right way to do it, but I just prefer to do it here. Okay. So all of that is correct. Let's see if it works. Oh, native code not available. Make sure you have linked the library and rebuild your app. Oh, rebuild the app. Hang on. All right. Come on now. Please work. Please be something that works. Make sure you've linked the library and rebuild your app. See this. Oh, I really didn't want to go there from there, but okay. Explore next, United ESPN, you must rebuild your app to add custom native code. Add to config plugins to the config plugin into the plugins array of your app. Okay. Here we go. I don't know if that'll copy it over here. Where is that at? Expo plugins. Expo plugins. Nope. Oh, there we go. Yeah, ChatGPT didn't tell me about that one. Expo plugins. I'm confused. Ah, I got you. Okay. So this is not what we're going for. We want at rn mapbox/maps. At rn mapbox/maps. And then object, which is going to encapsulate this. And there. that should be good. Let's see. Configure permissions for location access. I'm not. We might do that later. Expo location. Show current location on the map. Okay. Yeah, less worried about that right now. And more about trying to get this thing to show. Reload. Nothing works. Nothing works. Who builds these things? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Make sure you have linked the library and rebuild your app. Let's try rebuilding that. Oh, here we go. Failed to resolve plugin for module relative to failed to resolve plugin relative to plugin for module. Well, let's try this. Ask the chat. Yes, thank you. That would have been nice in the first place. I did that. You must use Expo Dev Build. I am using Expo Dev Build. This seems to be a common theme here, this Expo Dev Build thing, but that's what I'm using. Expo Start Dev Client? Maybe that's what I'm missing? That might be the issue. Nope. Because I'm just choosing it. This is really frustrating. I can't seem to get anything other than a web view to work here on my local development environment. Because this is all set up right. Add this to your app. I did that. It's installed. It's not complaining. I guess would be complaining if it couldn't find it. I mean, unless did I type this wrong inside my application? Nope. Save. I feel like I saved it before. That box text. That works. Expo router. Exact steps. Here's some version. I don't know. Anybody got any bright ideas? If you're still watching. Let's see. Let's just run this again. Takes us back to the app. That's building. Starting project. That's good. Failed to resolve plugin for module. Same issue. Why does this... It's saying that it can't import it from here. RN Mapbox Maps. Let's look at our NPM packages. RN Mapbox Maps. So it's trying to pull it in from the right place. I assume it's trying to get this? I do not know. Very weird. Let's try getting same error. Did that. I'm running that. Yep, doing all that. Module exports. Create file. Oh, I don't want to do that. That seems stupid. Expo plugins. Plugins. Maybe I don't need the config? Like, in the plugins, maybe I just need this. Instead of all this. Let's try that. Anything? Cannot destructure property. Undefined. As it is undefined. Okay, well, I doesn't like that. Let's rebuild it again. Everything builds fine. It just has an issue once it gets... Like, everything starts up fine, but it's got an issue when it's trying to pull this in. Native code not available. Let's see if that gives us anything. Yeah, this is what we did. You must use Expo dev build, ES build to make it work. Oh, do I have to do a whole other build? Is that the problem? Oh, that's gonna stink. That stinks. Who designed this junk? Okay, this is gonna take forever, guys. This might take up the whole rest of the time that we're here. We'll see if it will start. Compressing compute. Build profile development. Yeah, so it's getting queued up in Expo to be built, which takes forever. That might have been the problem with the Google Maps stuff too. Although I think this has better what do you call it? Come on. So this other map thing has better stuff. Let's see. Kelly says, finally deployed my first Laravel website using Contabo VPS. Huh. Never heard of it. Name's cheap, domain, and later included some Cloudflare configurations. It was tough, but do you have any tips on deployment? I don't know how cheap yours is, but and I have not played with this yet, but Laravel actually has its own cloud hosting now as of February 24th. It seems like a really, really easy way to get up and running, but I don't know how cost efficient it is. One of the things, so they're on AWS, and they do have like settings and stuff so that you can save money, have it spun down when you're not using it, things like that. I have not played with this yet. I'm hoping to play with this in the near future and just see what it looks like from a pricing standpoint. but it's all so like prototypes and hobby projects is free. Um, but when you start doing production, you're looking at $20 a month plus usage, right? So it's their platform, but it's zero cost to just do testing stuff, but you do have to pay for usage, right? So like any resources that you're using, like a server or whatever, um, you can set up with that. This is really nice because at least based off of their demo, it's very quick to get your website spun up. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. Doing something on your own. Another thing I would maybe say is doing something like there's Google has their stuff, AWS has their stuff. You can spin up an AWS Lightsail instance pretty quickly and pretty cheaply, and that is a set cost. I think it's like as cheap as like yeah, 350 a month. Um, and with that 350 a month, you're just getting a Linux Unix installation. Um, but you get shell access, so you can log in and do all of your deployments and things, anything that you want to inside of it. You can, I think you get a free dedicated IP with that as well. So then you can point like your domain to it. Um, so I would maybe go that route just because then you're not dealing with the whole server. You still manage the server, but it's a hosted fixed price for your application. So like I'll use this for stuff that I'm doing that is short term or for somebody that I know is not going to use a lot of, data, things like that. Um, I've got a project that I'm going to be working on for my sister-in-law. I'll probably spin it up on this because it won't have more than a few users. It won't have a lot of resources, right? So I would use something like this for that. If I know I'm going to be building something that's going to have more users, more interactive, more storage, I would probably go. I would probably test out the Laravel Cloud because they don't. Because it's going to be, this is their platform price plus your AWS usage here. So, um, yeah, but yeah, Laravel Cloud has their own thing that just launched, literally just launched, and it looks really really nice. But I haven't played with it yet. But yeah, I would typically suggest this cheap 350 a month thing if you're wanting to learn all the other server management stuff as well. So probably, yeah. The only thing that I find is a lot of times resellers make it even more difficult to do the things that you want to do um, with VPSs. Whereas if you can go more to the source, like AWS, like this, you can get access to things a little bit faster and easier. But it still may be a fine solution. I haven't worked with that one specifically. Uh, okay, let's see where we're at here. Dashboard. This one is it? It's has it even started? Oh, it started. Good. What do you know? The build has started. That's really annoying that I got to do a whole complete new build because I added a plugin. Stupid Expo. I think that's about one of the last things right here. But yeah, I can see it's compiling stuff. I get it. I get it. Mhm. Did it include? So it's adding the Google Maps stuff now too because I had that in there. Installing R in Mapbox. Yeah, so this must be the step that I was missing before. Well, trying to do things the easy way, right? Or at least what I think is the easy way. But yeah, see, this is like native maps, web view. Change damage for. So yeah, there must be some things in here that were necessary. Run fast lane. Let's look at another build and see how long this took. So this was our original build. Logs do not exist. Took 18 minutes. Build time was 17 minutes. Ugh, good grief. This thing takes forever. Started 8 minutes ago, so we still got another 9 minutes or so. Failed job. Oh, crud. Oh, what happened? Swift compile normal. Yep. Okay, Swift compile feature dot Swift feature extension file. Build iOS pods, Mapbox sources, Mapbox maps, camera. I don't need all that. I just want maps. This does make me wonder though. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this back. This is gonna be something that I'm gonna take a look at offline and see if I can get the build to update with just the Google Maps, and remove this other map thing and see if that was my issue as to why it wasn't working before. So that makes sense now, sort of, to some degree. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you guys know if that works. SEO optimization, things to do, contact Google. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of SEO optimization. Not that it's wrong or right. I know, Mel. Time flies. It's already almost 2 hours. Not that it's wrong necessarily to try to optimize. I just don't know how effective it really is these days. So, and here's why. Well, there's several reasons. One is that people use this to do a lot of searching nowadays, right? So eventually we're going to have ads in ChatGPT. It's just going to happen. But for now, this is one of the ways people are getting around advertising, which is also the problem with Google. Also, people are getting around normal Google searches or search engine searches with something like this, right? Not necessarily the most up-to-date thing, but definitely you can understand why people are using it more. But if we go, let's say we want to go and look up, I don't know, best budget app. All right. So when you look at this page, and I know this is small, so bear with me. I'm trying to give you a normal page size view, right? When you look at this page, the only things visible on this page are sponsored ads, right? So the whole idea of search engine optimization is to organically get your website up to the top of the listing, okay? I don't know about you, but I typically will click on something here, even if it says sponsored, if it looks like what I'm looking for. All right. And most people are probably the same way. You have to actually move these up a good bit to see anything else that's not sponsored, anything else that's not an ad. Depending on what you're looking for, you can get, I don't know. You've got videos here. I just don't know how well search engine optimization is going to help you compared to spending money on advertising. I know it's still a thing that people are worried about. It's still a thing that people do. Um, I just, I don't know. I just don't really worry about it. Part of that's because most of what I build are web applications, and you don't. That's not the marketing side of things. So I understand that, from a marketing standpoint, that's going to make a difference, or at least people say it's going to make a difference. And I just may not know that because that's not really my world. Um, but even when I've done different things with search engine optimization, I've just the way Google lays out their searches. And let's just look at that was Google. What else is there? Bing. Is that still a thing? Is Bing a thing? Uh, well, and even if you're asking a question of Google, like you get, let's do this. Like, so let's go back to Google for a second, and let's be like, for example, something we were asking ChatGPT: how do I add uh, apps to React Native app? So this would have been something that we would have searched back in the day. So now you're getting an AI answer to the question, which just trumps your web page. You've got videos about it, which trumps your web page. You've got, you know, these little people asking before you even get down to this, right? So you've got to scroll a good ways, and especially with integrating AI, I just don't know. I just don't know if SEO is worth it anymore, to be perfectly honest with you. So personally, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on SEO outside of anything basic. So yeah, sorry to burst your bubble. But yeah, I don't even spend even when I build a website for someone. I'll install maybe a tool that will help with it, but I'm not gonna spend the time myself putting it out there. Is it still effective? Can it still help with Google ranking? Sure. I mean, once somebody scrolls down, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it does still help. So I'm not saying it's not effective at all. I just feel like you're fighting against the machine. Spend a bunch of time on SEO when the machine is doing this. So there's that. Anyway, I'm gonna spend some time probably later tonight working on this, seeing if I can figure out what the build issue is. Um, I don't know. If I've got time and I'm working on this and I feel like it, I might pop on later this evening and see if anybody wants to watch me continue to fail. Um, but no guarantees. So, because I may not get to it tonight either. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and knock off for the day. Hope you guys are having a good time. Hopefully, this was mildly entertaining. What tools? So a lot of times I'll build basic websites with WordPress. There's some SEO plugins that'll work for that. Um, I'm pretty sure there's other packages that you could use inside an application that you're developing to do that as well. I haven't dug into it a whole lot because again, most of what I do now is web application development, and it's the SEO isn't a factor in those. So that would be I forget what it's. I think it's all in one SEO or something like that is the plugin that I have used for WordPress websites. But I don't build those hardly at all anymore either. So who knows if that's still available and working. I think it's up on the church website that I that I run for our church. So I think it still works, but we'll see. Anyway, I will see you all at least next Saturday, most likely. I don't think there's anything that's in the way at the moment, and potentially some other time this week. Mean SEO is it doesn't make it searchable on Google. It increases Google's opinion of your website, so it makes it searchable higher. So, like if I typed in Dev Mentor Dave, well, this should be an interesting exercise. You guys are just trying to drag me out here till noon. I can see it. So if we type in Dev Mentor Dave, like that's going to go to my YouTube channel. to my pathetic website. It's going to pull up my videos. It's going to pull up my X account, which I have started using X a little bit more. So if you guys want to follow me on X and respond, that'd be great if you're on X. My LinkedIn profile for the Dev Mentor Day, Facebook. So like it's pulling all the things that are Dev Mentor Dave, right? That's because there's no competition for Dev Mentor Dave, right? But if I do plumber Kansas City. So first, again, we're getting the sponsored Google guarantee. This isn't even more paid for section. And then it's just kind of a business listing, which again, I don't even know if SEO helps you get a higher ranking in here. Who knows how this works? This could be paid as well. Until you get down here, any recommendations? And it's based off of reputation of the website. It's based off of certain things. It's based off of, thanks for following me on X. It's based off of the keywords that you're telling it are on that page and what somebody's searching for. So it makes it, it does make it more searchable on Google. It makes it more relevant. Google finds you more accurately and more relevantly with optimization. But there's just so much that you're dealing with nowadays in regards to in regards to where you show in the ranking and what else is above the fold and before your ranking when it comes to Google. And again, going back to like ChatGPT, are people even using Google as much as they were before now that there's ChatGPT? Obviously, there's lots of people who don't use, AI LLMs for searching information, but there's a lot more people that are doing it every day. So that's just another thing that you're fighting against and getting people to know about you. I have always said that the best way to get people to your website is to advertise. That doesn't mean it's cheap, but it's generally going to be the best because you can target better through advertising even than SEO. So hopefully that answers your questions, Ming. But yeah, jump on X if you're on X. And since I try to post about once a day now. I don't get to it always, but some days I'll post more than once. But I'm trying to get that up. Because everybody's on X. So, there's that. If everybody's on X, might as well go there and interact with people. So feel free to throw me questions on X that I can either answer there or that we can answer here on the live stream on Saturdays. So, let's use that platform to help make this a little bit more interactive, hopefully, and maybe draw some more people into the live streams on Saturday mornings. So this time I really am gonna go. So have a good afternoon or evening wherever you guys are, and I will see you all at least next Saturday, if not sometime before, as we try to figure out the last vestiges of this app. We're really close to getting it done. I think I'm going to be sending once I get the map stuff done, I'm going to be sending a video over to the client so they can see where we're at with it, and then see if they have any suggestions or questions or issues with what we've got. And then I'll be working on push notifications. So that's pretty much, I think push notifications will probably be the last big thing. And I think I'm going to use the Google Firebase, because I think it's free to do those. And that way I don't have to build a backend for anything that we've got here. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys next Saturday. And yeah, enjoy.